I love the stars and the universe, and look, it's unfathomable to me how large and huge and massive it is. And at the start of the year, I got myself a smart telescope, and I love taking some pictures of the universe. So I took a few pictures. So hopefully you're going to have the first one up here. This is the moon. It's a little bit blurry. This was one of my first shots. Yeah, it's okay. But I took it, so it's up there. I didn't grab it from the internet. It was mine. And so that's the moon. That's our moon. This next one, though, I took this one. This is called C92, sorry, not C92. And this is the Caldwell 92 Nebula. It's beautiful. And it's one of the largest, brightest star-forming regions in the Milky Way. It's located very close, only 7,500 light years away. Pretty far. And it's massive. Not only is it far away, but it's very, very wide. It is 300 light years wide, across the night sky. It's huge. This next one is called the Seagull Galaxy. I need to get it a little bit longer and take a better picture of it. And it's upside down at the moment. But that round bit is the head, and the bit that's going across is the wings of this bird, they say, in the sky. And that's the Seagull Galaxy. The next one, this is Caldwell 103. And this is called the Tarantula Nebula because it's got all these arms going out everywhere, apparently, gas giants and things. And that's located only 170,000 light years away, just a little bit. The next one, this is the Horsehead Nebula. I love this one. If you look sort of up the top, you can see the little horse head in the gas there. I like it. It's beautiful. And that's only 1,500 light years away. That's a little bit closer. Still will take you a little bit further than going around to the shops. Now, this last one I got because my daughter is musically obsessed with theatre, and she went and saw Beetlejuice, the musical. So this is Beetlejuice. This is a star. This is a supergiant star, and it's located in the constellation of Orion, and it's pretty close again. It's probably our closest star, I think. 530 to 642 light years from Earth. And so it's one of our brightest stars that we see in the sky. And Betelgeuse is immense. It's huge. If it was placed in our solar system, it would be like if it replaced our sun. It would be so big it would go out to Jupiter. That's how big Betelgeuse is. It's massive. It just blows my mind to think about that. How many suns of ours can fit into Betelgeuse to make up Betelgeuse? It's massive. Well, I want to just bring out a little Bible verse right now. I'm going to go to Psalms, and it's only like 2 verses, so don't stress too much, but finding it. But it says, "When I look at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you set in place, what are mere mortals that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them." I'm going to stop there with that. All right, let me get this out of the way a bit here. Might need some space. More space. All right. Often we walk through life with this very small view of the world. Our vision is usually limited to the next 24 hours. We've got the bills that need to be paid and the car that needs a service and the tension that's happening in our workplace right now, right here, or the health of our families and things like that. And our problems seem massive because they are right in front of us. They're right there. Just, you can't escape them. And when a problem is 2 inches from your face, from you, they look like mountains. They look huge. But every now and again, we need to sort of step back and we need to take a perspective shift that reminds us who is actually in charge. We need to remember that the God we worship is not a local God or a tame God. He is the architect of reality. It's so vast and so huge that it breaks the human mind to think about it if we try to calculate it. It's not my phone, but it is my ring. I was thinking it was mine for a sec. Today, I want to take you on a journey through our neighborhood of God's creation. So our solar system. That's all. I don't want to go out into the galaxies anymore, even though I took some pictures of them myself. But I want to help us understand the majesticness of the Creator. So we're going to visualize this. We're going to scale things down a little bit, okay? Because thinking in light years, my brain can't compute very well, right? You know, so I'm going to scale it down a little bit so it makes it a little bit more understanding, hopefully, to us. Can we bring up the next pictures there? Should be on the next PowerPoint. There we go. So we're going to take this journey. And I want to take you on a journey through the neighborhood of God's creation. So to help us understand, we're going to scale it right. There we go. Now, we're going to imagine that Earth, this vast place that we stand on, this massive 12,000 kilometre rock that we call home, is shrunk down to the standard size of a basketball. This is Earth today, right? Oh no, I just broke it. No. That's terrible. Let me just put it back together. My little stand. There we go. I shouldn't press so hard. There we go. The Earth is our world. This is our Earth. Sorry, the basketball is our Earth. That makes sense. So, if I had this here, this Earth would represent every person on this planet that is now alive and past. Every kingdom, every war, every masterpiece of art, every prayer ever whispered happened on this Earth. Now, if the Earth is a basketball, and this is the moon, because you learnt that early with the kids. This is the moon, and that's its rough size when you sort of scale things down. If the Earth is a basketball, moon is a tennis ball, how close is the moon to Earth? Tell me, what do you think? Yes, but in this scale, how far is it? What do you reckon, Annette? Here? Further? Closer? Further? Keep going? Keep going. I'll keep going. Someone knows their stuff. Pretty much, I'm going to go this way because I'm running out of stage. It's about there. Is that about 7 metres? 7.2 metres. In the scale of if the Earth was a basketball and the moon was a tennis ball, that's how far it is in scale. It's quite huge when you sort of think about it. Now, what blows my mind is this. If you took every other planet in our solar system and you scaled them down to the same, scale as the world, every other planet would fit in between. And that's Uranus, that's Pluto, that's Mercury. They're all the small ones. Then you've got Jupiter, that's huge. Saturn with its rings. It would fit in that space between the Earth and the moon. My brain is broken just thinking about that. I can't comprehend. I know the facts are true, but my brain goes, huh? But think about the precision of God, though. If that tennis ball were a few centimetres closer, the tides on our basketball on Earth would overwhelm us. And if it was a few centimetres away, our planet would tilt and it would wobble so violently that the seasons would vanish and life would struggle to survive. The same God who keeps the tennis ball perfectly tethered to our basketball is the God who says in Matthew 10 that not even a sparrow falls to the ground apart from his notice. He is a God of meticulous detail. And if he cares about the orbital mechanics of a tennis ball-sized moon, how much does he care about the details of your life that feel out of orbit today? But the scale doesn't stop there. See, as we move out into our solar system, we start to see the multiplier of God at work. If we look towards the horizon, we see Mars. And this is the next one. Here we go, yeah. And on our scale, the Mars is the size of a softball. And it's sitting about 4 kilometres away from the Earth. So the moon's 7 metres. Mars is 4 kilometres. Roughly, well, I had to talk to someone the other day, Rachel, on average, because it spins around and we've got different orbits, yes, okay. But on average, roughly, it's about 4 kilometres. And it's about, to Roxbury Park. You've got to drive to Roxbury Park to get it, right? But it's a bit lonely. It's a bit smaller than us. Yet God has traced its path with the same finger that knit you together in your mother's womb. But then we hit the heavyweights. If we travel 14 kilometres away, if the Earth is the size of a basketball, 14 kilometres away, down towards Epping, you would encounter Jupiter. Now, Jupiter isn't a ball that you could really hold very easily. It would be a massive sphere about 2.6 metres wide. It's like a large patio umbrella, except round, or the height of a professional basketball hoop. It's giant. Then there's Saturn. Saturn's sitting about 26 kilometres away. Right in the heart of Melbourne, in the CBD, is this 2.2 metre sphere, but its rings stretch out over 5 metres. It's big. Colossians 1:17 says, "He is before all things, and in him all things hold together." Think about the power that required to hold together the rings of Saturn. But God is not stressed by the vacuum of space. He's not worried about that. He is not overwhelmed by the maintenance of a gas giant. And some wives are going, "Yes, I know a gas giant and he lives in my house." Right? Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to get in trouble if Kylie hears that later. He's not overwhelmed by gas. He doesn't try to keep them in orbit. His very word sustains their existence. So when you feel like your life is falling apart, remember that the one you are praying to is currently holding Saturn's rings in place without breaking a sweat. So when you think your problems are huge and you're praying to a God who is holding the universe together, don't worry too much. Now we're going to come back to the center of it all. The center of our solar system is the sun. So if the earth is a basketball, what size is our sun compared to our basketball? How big do you think it would be? Jupiter's this, it's not even house size. It's pretty big. On our scale, if the earth is a basketball, the sun is a massive sphere 26 meters in diameter. It's massive. Imagine, and if you're going, well, how big's 26 meters? Well, this room is about maybe 20 meters. So imagine a big round thing like that. And this is Earth, okay? And that's the sun. If you stood at the base of this sun building that's as an 8-story apartment, basically, you would feel insignificant. You could fit, if the Earth was a basketball, 1.3 million Earths inside the sun. Is your mind being blown yet just about the scale that our God deals with? It's massive. If we place this building, the sun, at Craigieburn Central, it's about that 3 kilometres from us in space. So it's actually closer than a lot of these other ones. But if we pass it there, it would be sitting nearly 3 kilometres away. Isaiah 40:25 says, "To whom will you compare me?" Who are you going to compare the God who creates this stuff to? Like, who? Who is my equal, says the Holy One. Lift up your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry host one by one and calls them each by name. Wow. When we see this 8-story sun, we realize that God is not just a bit bigger than us. He is transcendently great. His glory is a consuming fire. If we got too close to that 8-story building, we would be vaporized. This is the holiness of God. A light so bright and a power so vast, it demands our absolute awe. We do not manage a God like this. We worship him. Right? You start to think about the vastness and the greatness of his creation. Wow. I haven't got any other words for it. Wow. Perhaps the most staggering part of this model is the distance. See, to find the edge of our solar system, to find Pluto, you would have to drive, if the Earth is the size of a basketball, you would have to drive 111 kilometres away. Go to Bendigo. And you would have to leave all this area, you have to keep driving, it's a long place. Maybe your car is on here and it's very, very tiny. I couldn't make a dot with a Sharpie or even a pin to show where you are on this because it would be just too big still. You'd take 111 kilometres away to Bendigo and find the size of a marble, Pluto. It's out there somewhere in the vastness of space. And in between the 8-story building in Craigieburn and the marble in Bendigo, there is absolutely nothing. There's vastly nothing out there. It's empty space. The universe is categorized by 2 things: immense scale and immense emptiness. And it can make the human heart seem small. It makes us feel like we're accidents. When you look at that 111 kilometres, we're not looking at all the way we're driving there, we're seeing trees and roads and there's a cafe to stop at. No, there's nothing. Blackness. It's easy to believe the lie that God is out there somewhere, far too busy with 8-story suns and 5-metre rings to care about a basketball-sized earth, let alone one single person living somewhere on it. See, now this is where the gospel enters the scale. If the story ended with the 8-story sun, we would be people of despair. We would be orphans in this gigantic playground that God has. But the beauty of Christianity is that the architect of the 111-kilometre solar system did the unthinkable. He didn't stay in the 8-story building. He did not remain distant as a multiplier of galaxies. John 1:14 says, "The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us." In our scale, the creator of the universe stepped down onto the basketball. He became as small as the microscopic life on the surface of that ball. He felt the coldness of the ball's winters and the heats of its summers. He walked the dusty paths on the basketball. He wept over the basketball's brokenness. The God who is large enough to span the distance all the way through to Pluto and beyond is small enough to hold a baby. Why? Because he is not just a God of great scale. He is a God of relationship. See, when I look at this church and when I look at our community and I look at our work in Craigieburn, I see a reflection of his divine strategy. We often think that something to be godly has to be huge. We want the 8-story building results immediately. Give me those big things, God. But God's favorite way to work is to take a small church and make it strong. He takes a basketball-sized world and he puts his spirit into it. He takes a handful of volunteers and local leaders and he says, I will multiply your influence. The multiplier mandate is not about us becoming 8-story buildings. It's about us realizing that when we are connected to the Creator, his infinite scale flows through our finite lives. He takes our tennis ball efforts and uses them to light the night for others. He takes our softball dreams and gives them a place in his grand design. He looks at the 3 meters between us and the sun, across space and the time it takes, and he bridges it with the cross. This is a highly personal God. I hope as we leave today, I want you to look at the world differently. When you see a basketball, I want you to think, that's my world. It is small, but it's deeply loved. Deeply loved by our Creator. When you see that apartment building, and you go into the city and you look up and you see those magnificent skyscrapers, that is just a tiny hint of God's majesty. When you look at the distance between here and the next city, I want you to think, my God's reach is even further than that. Yet, His hand is on my shoulder. We are not a speck lost in the void of space. You are a son or a daughter of the one who measured that void with the palm of his hand. The God of the Son is the God of the soul. He is great enough to rule the heavens, and He's personal enough to walk with you. Wow. Wow. Our God is an awesome God. He is vast. He is magnificent. But He loves us. He loves you more than all the things they've created. He just put them up there to say, hey, look at me, look what I can do. You know, you think you're good, check me out. You thought you did a really good painting, Picasso. No, look up there, mate. But at the same time, He cares about us. He cares about you. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we are undone by your scale. We thank you that you are not a distant landlord of a cold universe, but a Father who stepped into our world. May we live this week with a confidence that the one who holds the stars and who spoke galaxies into existence holds our hand and comforts me.